Hey lovies, welcome or welcome back to my channel, Extreme Tarot, where we do moon readings, pick-a-cards, and zodiac readings. Today we're doing a pick-a-card reading inspired by the queen herself, Ariana Grande. We're looking into your past relationships to see any knowledge you've learned from these experiences. Just so in case you think it's just a major waste of your time, just to help you kind of like move on in peace. So go ahead and pick a pile, or I'm sorry, pick a card. I have card 1 here, the prayer, card 2 here, the gem, and card 3 here, the womb. Go ahead, the timestamp should be in the description box, and I will see you at your pile. Alright guys, so if you chose pile 1, the prayer card, this is going to be your reading to see what you've learned from your exes. Let me just scooch that back. Okay. Anyway, I also shuffled a song for you, and it was Your Love Is My Drug by Kesha. So, alright, and then we have the prayer card. So the way I broke down this reading, the first portion is just going to be what the relationship actually was. So I have some pre-shuffled cards, but then we're gonna live shuffle like the rest. There's like 3 parts to this reading. So the first card we got is Death in Reverse. And I usually, like, all my cards are like upright. I always put them upright when I'm like cleansing them or whatever. So this like came out and then like flipped in reverse. So this definitely wanted to be in reverse. We have the Ten of Swords. And the Five of Wands. Okay. For the way you were in this connection, like your energy in this connection, we have the Liberator. And maybe I'll put that like up here. Sorry, I'm like actually like. For your person, we have the Midas Miser energy. And for the way the connection actually was, just clarifying oracle cards, like basically for this portion, we have Man Holding a Heart and the Broken Heart. All right, guys, so what are we getting from this? I mean, with Your Love Is My Drug, I feel like this is a connection that you felt almost like addicted to, very like your person, it was like life or death, like, you know what I mean? That card is definitely like a more upbeat, like, oh, maybe I need some rehab, like blah, blah, blah. Like I've got a sick obsession. I'm seeing it in my dreams. I feel like this could be a spiritual connection just with the prayer. That's making me think of like, you know, more like spiritual things, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. It could just be a connection that you felt very stuck in. With Death in Reverse, if you'll know if this is your connection, if it was something that you kind of like just couldn't, I guess, liberate yourself from or something like that. So it was like, it was very heavy for you. It was very deep. It caused you a lot of pain. I mean, these 3 cards are like showcasing like what the actual connection was. And it's Death, Ten of Swords, Five of Wands. Those aren't really positive cards. We also have the Broken Heart energy here. So, okay, so what was this connection? Let's start from the top with the prayer. This is like depicting, it almost looks to me like someone's hand like bursting through the soil, like as if something's been like buried alive. So it's like, that's what I was saying with the Death in Reverse. It's like you couldn't let this connection die. Like that's what this connection was. It was something that kept you very stuck. Maybe you felt like you were just like buried alive or something like that, where it was just like, it was very like, I'm getting like suffocating, like as far as like not this person, but the connection itself, like the energies you felt about it, maybe. Because with their energy here, I'm looking at Midas Miser, I feel like they were very withholding from you for whatever reason. And it's just like, I feel like you were almost like pushing forward, like you were more giving in this connection. And it was very difficult for you to like break out of this cycle. I feel like there could have been, I feel like this is like, and if it wasn't like a spiritual connection, I feel like it was just maybe more of like a situationship or something like that, where it never really got off the ground. Like there wasn't like an equal give and take. I feel like, for instance, your heart could have been, because you see how this heart, let me stand up, hold on. You see how this heart looks more like paper thin, almost like flimsy, like it almost looks like a pillow with no stuffing. Like, if you were like sewing a pillow, you would like cut out the shape, like sew it up, and then have to put the stuffing in. This one looks more like 3-dimensional, and I feel like, and they're both coming through as 9. So I feel like you were both single in this connection, but the only difference is like, I don't know, I don't feel like it affected your person as much as it affected you. Like, you felt the pain of this, and it's like, it was constantly healing, it was constantly breaking, like, it was just like multiple times. With the Ten of Swords, it's like overkill. And I feel like this caused you a lot of mental anguish as well, a lot of anger and frustration, and a lot of stuck energy and emotion. But like, what I'm noticing is that there's no pentacles here. I don't feel like this was ever anything substantial. Maybe you would like hook up once in a while or something like that, but it was something that caused you a lot of pain. I'm getting with the Ten of Swords. I feel like you spent a lot of time analyzing this connection, maybe like just like it put you in a depression almost. Again, not this person, but like, I feel like I mean, maybe they did, maybe they were a terrible person. But with the man holding a heart, I don't know why I feel like this is like representing your person, but like, maybe I don't feel that they had like bad intentions necessarily. I just feel like they didn't have the capacity to love you in the way that you needed or wanted them to, or in the way that you love them. Doesn't have to be a man, but I'm just getting that this is like your person's energy kind of not being able to give you what you were giving back. And even if this was an actual relationship that you had, it could be that, again, it was just like a very unequal give and take in this connection in an emotional way. Like, even if you were like together, but I honestly feel like you weren't. I feel like this was more of a situationship, or like a spiritual connection, like a twin flame kind of a thing here, that just really put you through a lot of pain. Now you're coming through in this liberator energy. The positive aspect is freeing yourself and others from outmoded beliefs, releasing negative thought patterns. And the shadow is imposing your own tyranny over those you claim to liberate, ignoring legitimate constraints. I feel like it's more that, like, ignoring like the reality of this connection, ignoring the facts of the situation, and just sort of like, and I feel like you had pure intentions too, because there's this like white energy here, like that she's in this white outfit. And so I feel like your intentions were pure, and you were just following your fire and your passion. And honestly, if it's a spiritual connection, you probably were meant to, and probably like the goal was to like liberate yourself. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We're just kind of talking about what this connection actually was. But I feel like it was something that there was an unequal emotional capacity. It was something that you had many cycles, but that you could never really end, I guess, until maybe you did. But it was like, it had to happen. Maybe there was like makeup, breakup, or like kind of telling yourself I'm done, or just feeling like you couldn't be done, but feeling like you wished you could be done with it. Felt like banging your head against the wall with the Five of Wands. I'm getting, like I was saying, there was like other people maybe involved, where like you knew that they were with other people. Again, if it was a situationship, and you knew that they were kind of like, you were just one of like 4, or one of many, that this person was like entertaining. And I think it caused you a lot of pain. Again, I don't think that you necessarily like held this person responsible, or like really blamed them, but maybe it was more of a thing like you blamed yourself, like if I was good enough, this person would want to be with me, kind of a thing. And I think that's where a lot of your pain kind of ended up coming in. So, all right, if that sounds like your situation, let's move on to the second portion of this reading. Okay, which I'm gonna like live shuffle for. So, what have you learned? Let's get the tarot first. So I have this, what has pile 1 learned from their connection with their person? What's that? Spiritual union. Oh, okay. Like I was saying, I do think this was some sort of spiritual connection. And even if it was just like a situationship, it was like something where you had a lot of like genuine care for the person, but it looks like a twin flame connection to me. Pile 1 learn from this. Spiritual strength in reverse. Okay. Foundations and achievements. That's two. I just want to get one. Okay. Oh. Financial and material changes. Okay. And then we have the Tower, disruption here. And we get, let me see, what wooded pile. One, learn from this connection. Third person. Sorry. Oh. Share your voice, come out of the cave, persecution and expression. There. And Star Mother, how can you mother yourself? This here, and then let me get some of these. Let me get two. Pile two. Learn from this connection. Pile one. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. What did pile one learn from this connection with their person? Oh. I have the power to create change. Oh. And one more. What did pile one learn from this connection with their person here, with their ex? It's two. It says my body allows me to thrive. Okay. And then I am always provided for. Okay. So what am I getting from this? I'm getting that with the spiritual strength card, one of the most important lessons you learn from this connection is that you cannot like be strong for somebody else. Like you cannot hold somebody else up, and you cannot like not like make people do things, because I don't think that was like your intention necessarily, but it's like almost kind of like a save, like I want to save you, or I want to I don't know, like something about how like you can't take, just because you have like a certain like feeling for somebody, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's like meant to be in the physical. And it's like you're sort of like, I feel like the strength of this connection, like the spiritual strength that you felt, like, I mean, this is like, let's look at this card like upright for a second, but it's like, first of all, this green person, it's like the strength of your, I think this is the 9 of Wands, and that like card talks about like a final test. It's like, I feel like you've learned that the universe isn't going to test you to see how much shit you can take in order, I'm sorry, I'm just like getting like, okay, like in order to like help you. This spirit isn't going to test you how much shit you can take and then reward you with the connection of somebody that like has not even really seen your value all along, if that makes sense. Like, and maybe I'm not saying it like, oh, they've never seen your value or anything like that, but it's like not enough, I guess, to sort of like take this connection into like the physical in any real way. It's kind of like, you know, that episode of Sex and the City, La Douleur Exquise. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it's called it's like the exquisite pain. And she's talking about, it's at the end when she breaks up with Mr. Big, spoiler alert. And she's like, maybe I was like addicted. Oh, I think she talks about she was like addicted to the exquisite pain of loving a man so unattainable. It could be a woman too, but like, you know what I mean? Just that vibe. It's when it's in season 2 of Sex and the City, but, and that was your song, like, your love is my drug. And it's like, I feel like in a way you were almost like addicted to the pain, but you were like almost telling yourself it was for some noble cause. And I think, like I was saying, you did have really good intentions. Now we have this green, the green and the white. It's like you were coming from a place of love, and I think you really did have a lot of love for your person. But it's like, and you just have a lot of love in general, like inside of you. You just have that caring, like this is you, and this is what you got like backing you up here. But it's like you weren't putting that energy into yourself, you were putting it into this person and this connection. And we have this, I have the power to create change. I feel like that's another thing this connection has taught you, is that like, I think like I was saying, you were putting all the power either in this person's hands or in spirit's hands, like you're waiting for them to sort of like give you the green light here. And it's like you realize that like you weren't happy, and that you could create your own happiness, I guess, by disconnecting yourself from this connection. We have at the heart of this the Four of Wands, foundation and achievements. So I think another thing you learn from this connection is that sort of like how to give yourself credit, or how to like, as this says, come out of the cave, persecution and expression. And a lot of times these spiritual connections serve as a way to sort of get you on your right path. Maybe you have been kind of like in a metaphorical cave or something like that, maybe before you met this person, or like during the course of this connection. And I feel like maybe even like the pain was so great that it like inspired you to sort of like channel it in some artistic way, writing, painting, music, I mean, readings. This says expression. So you found some way to sort of like express yourself. It like really stirred something up deep within you that allowed you to sort of like channel it into some sort of like creative endeavor, I'm getting, or just inspired you to sort of like create your life in the way that you want to. And the foundation and achievements, I feel like you have like achieved things. And I feel like almost like I was saying with the spiritual test, I feel like you could have felt like this connection made you do things that you wouldn't do, because like I was saying, you thought spirit was testing you, like, okay, I have to like do this or I'm not going to get my person. I have to like, you know, find my creative outlet, because a lot of times that's what like these connections talk about. If you watch those readings, like those twin flame readings, it's like you have to like, you know, what's your real path, like focus on that instead of this connection. So I feel like you really tried to do that. You took this connection very seriously. Like you wanted this more than you've probably ever wanted anything in your life. And maybe that's what like inspired you to sort of like start your creative endeavor, whatever it was, or like start making changes in your life, like leaving jobs that weren't good for you. Because it's kind of like that manifesting law. Like you can't like accept things in your life. Like you can't expect to like have like the greatest relationship in your life. How can you expect that while you're like letting like, you know, your boss treat you like shit, your friends treat you like shit? I feel like you really cleaned house and took this very seriously, and like did like things that you never would have thought you did, like that never thought you would do, like in a good way, in a positive way for yourself. You know, I feel like you couldn't do it for yourself, but you could do it for this person, like just in the way that you were trying to give them strength. In reality, like the love that you had for this person, it was very real, but it also gave you strength to like sort of push yourself in ways that you never could have. And I feel like you did really have some achievements, and I feel like this connection was the base, this was the foundation of your own personal growth, like in that way, where possibly it's like Dumbo. I was just saying this to somebody the other day and I just thought of it again, but like it's like how in the movie in Dumbo, how he needs his feather to fly. I feel like you needed your person in order to fly, but eventually like you didn't need them anymore. I feel like I'm gonna cry. Like, that's beautiful. But it's like, I feel like that's, and I feel like you're looking back on this like connection with like this rainbow here and stuff like that. I don't feel like you're looking at it like this person's a fucking asshole, like this person effed me over, this person this person that. Like I feel like you're looking at it like, again, like the title of this reading, thank you, like the way when she sings it, look what you taught me, like in that, like she has such a beautiful voice, so it sounds nice when she's saying it, but like, you know what I'm saying, like look what you taught me, like look what I've achieved, like look where I am now because of you, because of this connection. Like I feel like there's such a gratitude that you have for your person and such a love, like it's not, and I feel like you're in a very powerful energy now moving forward, but it's like you've learned to nurture yourself. You've learned to like go after the things that you want. You've learned to like accept your authentic self and things like that. Expression, persecution, come out of the cave. It's like you maybe like laid it all on the table for this person, because that's like another thing with these spiritual connections. Like you have to be authentic. I feel like you took a lot of those like things very literally and seriously, and you really gave it your all 100%. And like in doing so, you've really like come so far yourself. Oh, okay. And then moving over here, this is like the Five of Pentacles, financial and material changes, and Star Mother. How can you mother yourself? So my body allows me to thrive. again, I feel like you learned, because remember in the first part of the reading we had like that Ten of Swords energy, so I felt like you were in maybe this connection caused you a lot of mental anguish, and it's like you almost learned like healing strategies in order to ground yourself, maybe with my body allows me to thrive. So maybe you learned how to like channel it into like exercise, or into like just going out doing more physical things to alleviate like the mental stress and tension and things like that. I feel like you've learned to be softer and more loving and nurturing to yourself. I feel like a lot of times, like I was saying, I felt like you really put this person, like idolized this person or put them on a pedestal where like even if they were like hurting you, you thought it was your fault in a way. And so I feel like this connection has maybe taught you that, you know, it takes two to tango. And yes, maybe there were things that you played a role in, but there were things that they played a role in and it just didn't work out. It's like, I don't feel like you're making this person the bad guy. You're learning to have this more spiritual perspective, this more neutral perspective on the situation, even when you lose something. And I feel like with this Five of Pentacles kind of showing your money and like things like that, I feel like you're also learning to apply this principle in other areas of your life, your finances and things like that, where it's like, if something bad happens, like it's like you don't take it personally anymore, or you don't tell yourself that you deserve to have this happen, or this happened because you're a loser or something like that. It's like, I feel like you have a more neutral perspective on yourself and your life in general because of this connection. So the next thing we're gonna do, this is the third and final portion. We're just gonna get some advice moving forward and kind of like a tone of like what you can expect to happen next, kind of not like anything specific, like what's your next relationship going to be like or anything like that, but just like what's kind of like, what's the advice that you need for the next phase of your life. So then we'll probably get a little preview of like what the next phase of your life actually is. So let's see, what is the advice for pile one moving forward? Okay, we have Dark Moon, the Void, and Egg Moon, Trust. Okay. And Blossoming on the bottom of the deck. And then, what was the next one I wanted to get? Oh, this. The advice for you guys. For pile one. What is the advice for pile one moving forward in general? We have express love through gifts. A small token of love can convey great appreciation. That's two. I just want one. What is the advice moving forward? You are limitless. You can do anything you choose. Beautiful. All right, and rest and relaxation is essential. This looks to me like this void moon. So I feel like what Spirit is saying is like, maybe you feel like you've spent so much time and wasted so much time on this past connection that you kind of want to rush into something else right away. Like you're going to want to, or maybe you already have. Well, maybe they're on another pile, that other person. But I feel like Spirit's saying like, rest and relaxation is essential. We all have a fundamental need to take a break. Like you need this time to sort of like, even if you feel like okay, but like especially if it was like a situationship or something like that where it was like you never were really together, it's like difficult to be like, okay, now I have to take even more time to like, you know, sit here. Like it's annoying. And I get it, but like I think this time is, I don't think it's going to be that long, honestly, because we had that blossoming underneath, like on the bottom of the deck, of the other deck. So on the Queen of the Moon. So I think that but I do think it is necessary a little bit. But then we have this Egg Moon, Trust, which like an egg, you think of something like about to hatch. It's like, it is like percolating. Is that the right word? It is like things are happening. And this looks like there's like two people hugging and blah, 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 like naked, being vulnerable with each other. But it's like, it's going to take time. Oh, what's that song? It's going to take a while for this egg to hatch. It's Liz Phair, Why Can't I? Or maybe that's you, like, why can't I just jump into something? But in that song, it talks about, isn't this the best part of breaking up, finding someone else you can't get enough of? someone that wants to be with you too. And again, I feel like in this connection, it's not that maybe the person didn't want to be with you, but they just didn't have the capacity or whatever happened, you would know, but it just didn't work out. And you felt definitely at the end like they didn't want to be with you and you moved on. So I feel like, you know, you're going to be excited to maybe jump into something else. But I think Spirit's saying, like, because in that song, it's like, got a girlfriend, you say it isn't right, and I got someone waiting too. So it's like maybe you're going to almost come together with somebody in like a similar position to where you're at, where they're like not getting over somebody, or you're not getting over this person yet. You think you are, or not even that you're not over them, but that you just want to jump into something new just to do it, or something like that. Like you are limitless. So like be careful for like kind of having this attitude of like just ready to jump in, and also be careful of maybe doing too much in connections, like really trying to show people how much you care. I feel like that's something you could do. So I feel like just if you want to, if it's not bad to be in that energy, like a giving energy, but maybe like more so channel it towards your friends and family and people like that like keep the romance, like as far like maybe being a more receptive energy for your romantic relationships. But I think Spirit's saying like trust in this process, get right with yourself, take this time to sort of like, you're starting a new cycle. It's like with the egg moon too, it's like, you know, the egg has to, it's going to take a while for this egg to hatch. So like not a while, but like I think it's going to be sooner than you think. But I also think that it's not going to be like the second you break up with this person, like in a romantic comedy where your next love is going to like walk in the door like 2 minutes later. I think it's going to take a little bit longer than that. Let's get a couple of these. Oh. What is the advice for pile one moving forward? Let's just see. It is a wise thing to be polite. Consequently, it is a stupid thing to be rude. Feelings are so important. Make feeling good your number one priority and watch your life change. Tell yourself, I support me and everyone else is just gravy. The worst thing in life is not failure, it's regret. I don't know if you could see that. I have to move these up. Hold on. All right. Meditation prompt. Who am I? Who have I always been? Look to your childhood. Don't live the same year 100 times and call it a life. We have starting on the day. Woo! All right. With positive thoughts about yourself, even if you're mean in between. And that I saw almost come out before. Trust that Spirit will pave the way forward once you're truly following your joy. I just saw that sticking out. So I'm sorry. I just want you to get all the advice you can get. Relaxation will allow openness and surrender. Chill. Like, so I feel like don't worry about when your next relationship is going to come in. Just focus on feeling good about yourself, supporting yourself. I don't need anybody else. If I got through this connection that was like the most painful thing in my life, like I really don't need anyone else. I don't need my feather anymore. I don't need a different feather to come. Like I don't need any feather. Like I am me. Like I am good. I'm supporting myself. I'm feeling good in my life. Like I feel like there's something about like exploring past aspects of yourself and your childhood, like what this is saying, like getting in touch with who you really are, remembering it, or just like owning it if you already know, and also like moving forward, trying different things, like really like getting like new experiences and stuff like that. I don't know why I'm having a tough time talking today. It's not flowing out of my mouth today. The worst thing in life is not failure, it's regret. It's something to keep in mind. So, like, think about everything you've learned from this connection. And I think you already know. I feel like you almost have this mentality and that sort of like the vibe that you had in your connection. Like, I don't want to regret not giving my all to this connection. And it's like, you know what? You have given your all, you have tried, and now you can move on in peace. I feel like you did take the high road here with it is a wise thing to be polite. Consequently, it is a stupid thing to be rude. I feel like you are a very wise person and you acted in a way that you can be proud of, and you conducted yourself in a manner that you can be proud of, and just like move forward with no regrets into like this next sort of like happier time in your life, and just remember to trust spirit. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I think we're gonna leave it there. I hope you got something useful out of this reading, and I hope you have a good day or night. Sorry. Or, oh my God, that's dust. Like wherever you are, and I will catch you in the next reading, okay? Bye. All right, guys. Hey, so if you chose card 2, the gem, this is going to be your reading to see what you've learned from your ex, from your past relationship. And again, this doesn't have to be like an actual relationship, because, you know, a lot of us have those situationships, or we have those little things that kind of like never get off the ground or whatever, which I feel like is going to be the energy in this pile, and I'll tell you why, like, from these cards. But first off, your song was I'll Never Break Your Heart by the Backstreet Boys, and I'm just going to tell you what the reading is going to be in 3 portions. So this first one I have the pre-shuffled cards for, is going to be what the relationship actually was, relationship, situationship, whatever it was. But so let's go ahead, and then the second part is going to be like what you actually learned from it, and the third is just advice moving forward. So let's see what we have here. So what was this relationship that you had? So we have the 8 of Swords. Okay. We have the Lovers. We have the 8 of Pentacles. Okay. Let me just move that up. Actually, let's move that down because I forgot how I'm gonna do this. All right. And then for your energy in this connection, we have the Mediator. For your person's energy, we have the Knight. And just for how the relationship actually was, we have number 23, all tied up, and number 30, the Garden and the Gate. So yeah, with this Garden and the Gate, that's why I'm saying, like, I think this was like a connection that never really got off the ground. I'm getting a similar energy from these 2 cards where like there's some glaring sign, but it's like you think you're seeing deeper into this connection, like something with kind of like a dark exterior, but like you're like, no, I see like the gem inside or something like that. With the I'll never break your heart, I feel like, how does that song go? When I asked you out, you said no, but I found out that you've been hurt. You thought that you'd never love again. I deserve a try, honey. Even because that song, it's like this person rejected you maybe, and you're trying to be like, no, but like, I'll never break your heart. Like, I'll really care about you. Kind of like a vibe like that. Even with this mediator energy, that could be Libra energy. Let's read this card. Gift for negotiating fairness and strategy in personal and professional life. Respect for both sides of an argument. And the shadow side is negotiating with an ulterior motive or hidden agenda, either personally or professionally. I feel like with this card, like, what I'm getting is that you tried to like smooth things over in this connection a lot, or you would have. I feel like, oh my God, I just realized that all tied up in the Eight of Swords. It's like, I feel like this connection was something that just like wasn't moving forward, couldn't move forward. Like the gate is locked, like blah, blah, blah. And you want to like get through the gate kind of, or you wanted to, I should say. I feel like also with this gem card, oh wait, but let me finish talking about this mediator. I never finished my thoughts. I get going. I feel like respect for both sides of an argument. That's what I'm getting. Like you really tried to like look at this from your person's point of view, especially if you know that they've been hurt. I'm seeing all these earthworms, this like cemetery vibe. Like maybe it's like they have kind of like that energy of like depression, like they've been through a lot of things in their life, something like that. And it's like you really like felt for this person with the mediator. Again, I feel like you had good intentions. I'll never break your heart. Like you wanted to like maybe help them or like fix them in a way, like something like that. But it just like wasn't, they didn't want you to or something like that. But okay, so what was I just gonna say? Oh, I'm thinking of this meme. Okay, or not a meme, it's a reel. It was a reel I saw on Instagram. It's so funny, but like I feel like that could be kind of like a metaphor for this connection, where maybe you've seen it, but it's like there's this this animal, there's like an inflatable pool, and there's like this little animal, like a gopher. I don't know what it was, we'll call it a gopher, but there's like this little gopher like swimming around, and like this girl has like a bucket, and she's like, no, let me help you, like I have to help. And like the other girl who's recording is like, leave it alone, and she's like, no, I have to help this animal or what, this gopher. And so she's like trying to get the gopher to go in the bucket so she could take it out of the pool. Like she's genuinely trying to help this gopher. Like it's not like you had bad intentions or anything like that. But anyways, she finally gets the little gopher in there, and she's like, thank you for letting me help you, like blah 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 blah. And then she's going to like release the gopher, and then the gopher just like turns around and like attacks her, like just like kind of like jumps in her face, like, you know, almost like turns on her. And I feel like that's what could have happened here. Like I feel like this person could have like lashed out at you or something like that. Just from that meme, I just like popped in my, I keep calling it a meme, that reel, it just keeps like popping in my head. But I feel like, or just like shut down this connection real quick or whatever it was. Like they didn't want your help. Like I'm good on my own, like whatever. So, and then also what I was going to say about this card, when I first pulled this card, I heard like the Gem of Amara in my head, which is like this episode of Buffy. That's not the name of the episode, but it's about this Gem of Amara. I don't know. It just like it just popped in my head. And at first I was like, why is that episode? Like, I didn't get the connection, but I've been thinking about it. It's from the Harsh Lighted Day, and it's when Buffy, I'm not going to talk about the whole episode, but there's this relationship dynamic with Buffy, who's like the main character, where she starts talking to this guy, Parker. We don't like Parker. She starts talking to this guy, Parker, and, you know, it's like he's dating her for like a week. They're like talking and hanging out. They're in college or whatever, and it's very casual, but like, it's like, but they're talking about deep things. He's telling her about, I don't know, he's like, well, that's when I started, I think his father had passed away or something, and he's talking about how like that made him like seize the moment. Like it's clearly a line, like, you know what I mean? Right before he tries to have sex with her. I'm trying not to curse on YouTube. Right before he's trying to like bang it out with her, and he's saying like, you know, he's trying to almost manipulate her, like you have to seize the moment, like blah blah blah. And she like kind of falls for it, and they end up sleeping together, and then like he never calls her again, and she's just like waiting around for him. Then she sees him with another girl, like actually hears him saying the same lines to like some other girl, and she's just like, what? Like, Parker, what's going on? And he's like, were you just having fun? Like, what are you talking about? And makes her almost think that it's like her. And she's like, did I do something wrong? Like, you know, I feel like that's what could have happened here. Something like along those lines. And even at the end, and I feel like you've had a tough time almost like letting go. Like, you keep like wanting to find, you're like, but I saw like with this gem, it's like, but what was I seeing? What was I feeling? Like, why did I feel that way? Like, I feel like you had a tough time initially, or if you're going through this like kind of recently, like you are still having a tough time, like trying to see the good in this person. And you're like, maybe even like, because in that episode at the end of it, like she's talking to her friend Willow, and she's like, Willow, like, I don't know, like whatever she's saying, like, I just feel like, you know, we could still work it out, or I feel blah, 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 blah. And then Willow's like, Buffy, like, Parker is a poop head. Like, you need to, like, understand that. And, like, and she's like, well, maybe if I, like, blah, blah, blah. And then Willow's like, I think you're missing something about the whole poop head principle here. Like, you know, you can't put lipstick on a pig. Not that I'm saying this person's a bad person or anything like that, but, like, they're just maybe not, well, let's go over here and talk about them. But I just don't think this is going to line up. Like, I mean, I don't think this lined up well, I should say, because this is something in the past. But loyalty, romance, chivalry, a love of honor. And then the shadow is allegiance to a destructive ruler or principle, romantic delusions. So maybe, like, if this is your person's energy, it looks like they're, like, looking back on something else. So maybe, like, they were in a relationship, maybe they couldn't get over a relationship, maybe they had this like allegiance, maybe they were in like a twin flame connection and they were just like stuck on their person that they, you know, have like some sort of like really deep spiritual connection. They're loyal, romantic, and chivalrous, and they feel like their honor is to this person or something like that. Like, you know what I mean? But with this night energy, I feel like they're almost in a romantic energy where it's not like they're closed down to love necessarily. And I hate to say this, and please don't get triggered, but it's like they were closed down to like new love. You know what I mean? With you or with anybody else. Like, they are just, maybe they're kind of in it for like the fun or the flimsy, you know, whatever, but they're not trying to like let you like not break their heart and take care of them and love them right. Like, their allegiance is elsewhere for whatever the case, wherever it is. Like, they're not going to walk through this gate with you. Like, they'll maybe like say hi to you if you're over here, hey, like, you know, over the gate, but they're not like really going to open the gate. The key's around their neck, but they're not going to use it. Eight of Swords, I feel like you've seen that this person is sort of like trapped, tied up into something else, and it's like you almost like you want to come in and be like, you see that they maybe have had past hurts or something like that, and you want to say like, look, we're the same, because maybe you've had similar experiences. I'm getting now with this Lovers card. Maybe you feel like you've both kind of been through similar experiences in life, and you want to show them what real love can be or something like that, or what a good person could be. And even with the Gemini energy, it could even mean that, oh, Gemini, that's weird, but it's, maybe they're a Gemini or you are, but like, or it's just like that Gemini energy where maybe they kind of had these two sides where you thought you saw like the one face. And I'm not saying two-faced as if they're like a two-faced person or that all Geminis are or anything like that, but it's like that duality where it's like, I feel like they probably do have this energy that you were picking up on, but this energy is taking up a lot more of the card. Like, that's where they're at right now. Again, this is like with time, of course, I'm sure they could expand and grow, and like this could be the whole card, you know, or it could be half and half, whatever. But I feel like at the point of this connection you had with this person, they were a poop head. I feel like they were a jerk to you. That doesn't mean that they're a jerk or a poop head in general. Maybe they've just got some growing to do or whatever, but they weren't willing to work on this connection in the way that you were. They weren't willing to accept what you were offering, you know? And it's like, I feel like you were like in that reel, like really like, no, let me help you. Like, you really wanted to show them like, and I don't even think like you wanted to show them. I feel like you just wanted to show them that like there are good people in the world or something like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, or there is people that can understand you. If anything, I feel like you could have wanted to even maybe be a friend to this person, you know? Like, even if I get it, if you're not ready, like, I don't feel like you were really trying to be pushy necessarily. I feel like you were trying to like social smooth, like be there for this person. And things like that. And it's like, you would have been like a friend to them if you were like, oh, like, I feel like if they were like, listen, like, I'm not like, you know, ready for this connection. Like, I'm in a relationship, or I'm this, or whatever the case was, whatever they're like focused on over here, like, you would have understood and tried to still like be their friend and like show them again that like there's genuine caring people in the world or something like that. So maybe that's something to look into. Like, I don't know, maybe you have some sort of kind of like hero complex or something like that, where or especially if like, I know that sounds terrible to say, but like, I don't know, maybe some sort of complex where you just like, you like a little fixer-upper, you know, like give you something to do. I don't know. Instead of like focusing on yourself, maybe you try to like focus on other people or something like that. So also you could have also gotten out of like a relationship, because I'm thinking about that whole Buffy thing, that whole Buffy dynamic. And that was like, she had just broken up with Angel, who was like the love of her life, in like the end of season 3, and this is like the very beginning of season 4. So it's like, she was like, you kind of thought the way they did it on the show, like he was in a few episodes before they actually like had sex or whatever, and then he kind of played her out. So it's like, you almost thought this was going to be like her new love. But so if something like that happened to you, I would like to point out, if we're going by this Buffy timeline of her relationship, she does meet a really good guy a couple episodes later, and actually he knows that guy Parker and ends up like punching him in the face, and because he's like talking bad about her, and he's like, all right, like not on my watch. So maybe like, not that that scenario is necessarily going to play out, but like somebody that would never like stand for that kind of behavior, somebody that would see your worth from the beginning, you wouldn't have to show them. And like, I almost feel like you were sort of like auditioning for them, trying to, I don't know if I said that in my last pile or if I already said it in this pile, but maybe that's like a theme going on here. Where it's like, you want to show them, like you don't think you're good enough on your own or something like that, and like you have to show them like your worth. And I feel like this other person that might be coming in after like this, unless this is from like a long time ago, maybe you're already with this person, but I feel like they're gonna be a more like, because remember how I was saying like kind of dark, they're gonna be more like all American, like just like, not like they're gonna be American, but just kind of like a lighter, more open, honest person from the beginning. Like there won't be any of those games. Like you'll know where you stand with them like early on. So let's see, what have you learned? Should we get the tarot first? Oh, I already started doing this. All right, we're just gonna get the tarot first though. Sorry. So what has pile 2 learned from this connection with their person? What are the lessons they've learned? Number 10, the Wheel of Fortune, Destiny. It's 3. Choose wisely. Yes. What's your pile 2 learn? Stand your ground, number 7. Okay. And disruption. This was on the bottom of the last pile as well. So, all right, like with this is like the 7 of Cups and the 7 of Wands and the Wheel of Fortune. And then we're gonna also get some of these. Okay. Whoop. What am I doing? That was a terrible shuffle. What did pile 2 learn from this connection? I feel like I did this the opposite way in the last pile, but whatever. Align your life. What is not aligned or needs to change? And trust the niggle. What is the niggling feeling trying to tell you? Yes. Yes, yes. And then what the affirmations? Sorry, I'm looking at my notes. Okay. And yeah, the affirmations. What did pile 2 learn from this connection? Okay. My grief, anger, sadness, anxiety, or loneliness does not define me. It is safe for me to rest. Okay, and on the bottom, my soul is infinite and divine. All right, so I feel like, okay, what I'm getting from this is that something you learn from this connection is that I feel like you kind of like entered into this connection with the stand your ground. That's the first card, like calling out to me. I feel like you really entered into this connection in a way that was like, where you were trying to be very authentic. Like you were trying to like be yourself, and like I feel like yourself is that sort of caretaking energy that we were talking about. And that whole thing of like, did I do something wrong or something like that? I feel like maybe this person kind of like played mind games with you, where they tried to make you think like, oh, like you're imagining things, or you're delusional, or you're like blah blah blah. And I feel like you're like, what? Like, and I feel like I was saying, your intentions were pure, where like you were like you were willing and able to like be a friend to this person, even if you saw that they weren't ready, and you were kind of entering into the connection in that way, where you were like, okay, like I'm just gonna be my open, like authentic self, and I am going to just be open to whatever. Like with destiny, it's almost like the vibe of like trusting spirit. I'm gonna be open to, like, I feel like you saw that this could go either way. Even with this, I'm getting like it could go this way, it could go that way, it could go that way. I'm open to it all. It could end with a heartbreak. I'm open to that, like whatever, if like that's what I have to, you know, kind of deal with in this connection, or if that's which way the wheel is going to turn, fine, like, you know what I mean. But you just went into it with a very open, like, whatever happens, like, I'm just gonna try to be a good person, be my authentic self, like, because with destiny, that's like Sagittarius, I'm getting like a free spirit energy, like that's just who you are, and you're like, I'm just gonna be myself, and like whatever, and just that, maybe that's who you are. Like I was saying, like you're just somebody that's very open and honest and authentic, regardless if people like it or not, kind of a thing. And I feel like maybe this person took your honest and authentic energy as like a sign that you like maybe like wanted to marry them, or wanted to, like, you know what I mean. They took it in the wrong way, that you, because I can tell from what I just read of your energy that you're like I was saying, you're able to be this person's friend. Like you were approaching this from a mental standpoint, from the cards we had, you know, in the last portion of the reading. Like we had like that mediator Libra energy, the Lovers at the center, like where you could see that it could go either way, but you were like, it's okay, like I'm still like gonna be there. Like I think you saw a lot of pain in this person, like this darkness. Like I feel like you did see that that they had a lot of maybe legit pain, and I feel like you did too. My grief, anger, sadness, anxiety, or loneliness does not define me. I feel like you could almost like resonate with this person on some level, but like I was saying, I feel like you could have talked about deep things, just like with that Parker thing. Like I feel like you really, and maybe you were just excited to sort of like meet somebody that you felt like kind of like understood that sort of aspect of your personality, and you were like excited, even if it was just a friendship, to sort of like, oh, let's compare notes about our grief, let's compare notes about our issues that we both have, or something like that. You would have been almost happy to be a friendship, so you approached it in that way, like, I'm open, let's get to know each other and let's see what happens. And then it kind of like went bad, and I feel like this person almost kind of did something that was a little bit maybe not the best character defining moment of their life, like, you know what I mean. And maybe it's not even that I think that they, like I was saying, like I feel like they were a jerk to you, but I don't think that defines them as a person overall. Like maybe they were just going through a rough time as well, and I feel like you even understand that now, you know. And that's what I'm saying, like that's what this connection has taught you, where you're just like, no, like, and I do it again, like, you know what I mean. Like I would act that way again, because that's just the way I act, and not in just in this situation, but just in my life in general. Like it is what it is. But at the same time, I think you're maybe realizing that you like jumped the gun a little bit. Like maybe there was a feeling. What is the niggling feeling trying to tell you? I feel like your inner voice did try to tell you like, be careful, like tread carefully. But it's like, I feel like you almost, maybe not from the beginning, but maybe like once you were in, you're like, that seems a little weird, but oh, you know, I still want to be a good person and try to help this person, or something like that. I feel like you really wanted to help this person. I feel like you recognized maybe like a version of yourself from the past, and it's like, oh, I know what they're going through. I know, maybe even if there was some like sort of weird or bad behavior, you kind of like not justified it, but you understood it. Like you're like, oh, like I get why they're acting that way, because blah blah blah. Like I'm not gonna, like, you know, call them out or make them feel bad about it. It's like you probably let a lot of things slide in the name of just like being an understanding person, to be honest. And it's like, again, I feel like you're like, yes, and I would do it again. Like, you know what I mean. I would take the hit, almost like the hit on my pride, just because like I know this person's going through a lot of things, like, you know, or something like that. Or even if it's not that, and you're like, oh, what are you talking about? Like I feel like you maybe feel like just that you would just, I feel like you would do the same thing in the way that you would always try to like be an understanding person in any situation. I don't feel like this person made you that way, but I feel like it was almost tested, and it's like you stood your ground and you're like, yes, like I know who I am and I am gonna be this person no matter if other people want to make fun of me. I feel like they could have like made you feel like that, like made you feel stupid, or like almost like I was saying, you're delusional or something like that, and you're just like, no, you know what, like I was just being me. Like if you don't like it, fair, that's fair, but you don't get to say like what I, you know, who I am or what I am if I was being delusional. I feel like you were just open to getting to know somebody that you felt that you had a lot in common with, and it ended badly, and then you were told that you like almost did something wrong, or it was implied. And you know what you learned from this is that you're gonna stand your ground. Maybe you are gonna like not ignore this niggling feeling next time. Like you're gonna choose a little bit wiser if somebody seems to have a lot of problems. And that's what I'm saying, like maybe that's what you learned, is that you didn't like people defining, oh, like maybe people said that person has a lot of problems or something like that, and you were kind of just like, well, I've had a lot of problems and that didn't define me, so like why am I gonna like, you know, blame somebody else? Maybe I can help them align their life and or something like that. And it's like, I don't know. So in that way, not that I think you were wrong, but I think that maybe like it was almost like looking in, like you were looking in a distorted mirror and like thinking that this person, maybe they did have a lot of the same issues as you, but maybe they didn't have like a lot of like the same good qualities as you, you know, or maybe not yet, you know what I mean? Maybe they're still growing or something like that. So yeah, I feel like, yeah, you were looking in the mirror, seeing like yourself in the past or something, like looking at this person and just wanting to be there for them in a way. But then, you know, you ended up realizing like you were just on two different pages, and you know it's time for you to rest right now, and it's okay for you to like not always like be a savior for other people, and to sort of like, you know, put that energy back into yourself. And it's okay that like maybe you're not in that darker energy anymore and you're sort of moving on from it. What is that Joe Budden song where he's like, with nothing to overcome and I miss the burden? I forget the first part of that, I can't like think of it, but it's like where it's like you almost want to like bring more problems back into your world in order to like just feel like yourself again somehow, like, but it's like you're moving past that, I feel like, into like a more stabilized energy. And so you'll probably, like I was saying with that Buffy thing, Riley was the next guy that came in. I feel like you're more so going to be attracting somebody like that. I feel like this person was kind of a representation of the people you attracted in your past, maybe that had a lot of issues and stuff, because you kind of did back in the past too, but maybe you've sort of like overcome a lot of them, so it just wasn't a good match. That's what I would say. All right, let's just get your advice and then wrap up this reading. What am I doing for this one? All right, what is the advice on pile 2 moving forward? Oh, this came out in the last pile. Egg Moon, Trust. Snow Moon, Purity. I love that. And then we have Resistance on the bottom of the deck. And what was the other one? This one. What is the advice moving forward for pile 2? What is that? Back to what you love. I'm gonna take it. Where it says reevaluate your desires and spend quality time together. Bye. Guys, I feel like something good is coming in for you. Like, I really can't even lie. Like, I love you. These are powerful words. Like, this is your advice moving forward. I can't. All right, let's just get the rest of these. Like, I really do. I feel like you're about to like walk into like some like happy little like portal, like with this card, where like you're actually like, it's mutual and the person is pure, and then like spirit's like, trust, it's like on its way. And it's funny because like when I did this in the last pile, I feel like this card was here and it was like a void here. So I feel like you've gone through like the darkest part and you're kind of like in that percolation period right now, and it's like this is coming in, something really pure. Okay. Every time you judge someone else, you reveal an unhealed part of you. I feel like you've really learned that lesson, like, over time. Like, and I feel like that's why it's like you won't judge people. Like, you just can't. Like, you'll always understand. And that's what I think. It's like Spirit's like, okay, like, maybe you're being a little too non-judgmental or something like that. Like, you have to sometimes be a little bit more discerning. The worst thing in life is not failure, it's regret. Mental stress tip: imagine the dense energy of your mind trickling down into your body. Take a breath, stretch, and shake your shoulders. Notice who's happy for your happiness and appreciate the fuck out of them. Let's see. If you envy someone, it's because they're reflecting everything you could be if you just believe in yourself. It's too many. Just one. Weigh and discern everything you're told. Okay, yeah. Okay. And then this. Sometimes people just don't have the capacity to emotionally understand or connect to you. So I feel like you might still be thinking about this connection a little bit as you move on. Maybe this is a little bit more recent, or you're just like really like thinking about the lessons that you've learned. Like, I feel like you're just like, you know what, like, this person just didn't have the capacity. Like, I'm not going to judge them. I'm going to focus more on like the people I have around me, like back to what you love, like the people that are happy for me and that support me and things like that. I feel like you're gonna, with this mental stress tip and then this whole thing, I'm almost getting like, you're not gonna look at the potential of people anymore. Like, you're gonna look at the actuality of like the situation, because this is like a mental stress getting out of your mind into your body. I feel like you're not gonna just like, they're gonna need to show up. Someone's gonna need to show up for you, in order for you to sort of take it seriously with that weigh and discern. It's like, it's not just gonna be what you think. It's gonna be like their actions, the time they're spending on you, and something like that. It's like, I feel like that's the advice. Like look for that. Like, no more of these little, like, I feel sorry for you, like, in your little pity party. No more, I'm gonna try to fix you up. I'm gonna try to, like, be there for you because no one was there for me. Like, no, like, no one was there for you. Then you need to be there for yourself and, like, find someone who's, like, there for themselves. And then you could, like, be there for each other mutually, like what I see here. So that's all I'm gonna say about this, guys. Like, you already know. So thank you so much for watching this reading. I hope you enjoyed it and got something useful out of it. Trust that something good is coming in, because I feel like it really is, but you will know by like their actions and the time, like quality time that they're going to spend, and you'll just be able to tell that they're a good person. Whereas like this past person, I think, was like a little darker. This person's going to be like the opposite of them or something like that. And I saw that card when I was flipping through, like, I'm going to find it. And it said, even if you don't know what you like, I bet you know what you don't like. So use the opposites as a starting point. So like, I wouldn't be trying to find someone that's like akin to this person that you just kind of like, this poophead Parker, whoever they are. I would look for someone like almost on the opposite end of the spectrum or something like that, because that's what I feel like the message that was coming through, like, with this reading. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I said that already, but thank you again. Thank you 2 times, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye. Hey Lovey, so if you guys chose pile, so I don't know why I said that twice. Hi again for the 3rd time. If you guys chose pile 3 and the womb card, this is going to be your reading to see what you learned from your breakup with this person, your ex. Like, what did the relationship, the experiences teach you? I shuffled a song for you, and it was Let It Flow by Toni Braxton, which is from the movie Waiting to Exhale, if that's like relevant to anybody. But I broke this reading down into like 3 parts. So the first part that we're going to do here, where I have like your pre-shuffled cards here, is going to be what the relationship actually was. Then we're going to look into the second part, which is what you actually learned from the connection. And then the third part is going to be just like any advice, like some quick advice moving forward, like, and kind of like a little preview of the next portion, your next ex, just kidding, your next relationship maybe, or just the next phase of your life if it doesn't include a relationship at this time. So let's see what we got here. So we have the King of Pentacles, the 5 of Swords, and the King of Swords. Okay. And your oracle cards, like, who were you in this connection? We got the Hermit. Who is your person in this connection? We got the Mentor. Is this how I had these? Yeah, I think it was. I think it should just be like this. Okay. And what was this relationship actually? We have woman holding a heart and deceit. Okay. Oh boy. All right. So I feel like this connection was like an actual relationship. Like this was like a long established like partnership or something like that. With the womb, I'm getting like this, you could have even been married, but it was like a significant relationship that I think maybe lasted a long time. Like, they were your boyfriend, they were your girlfriend, they were your fiance, they were your whatever, like, you know, like some sort of long established connection here. And if not, I feel like it also could have been like an affair with like a married person or something like that also, with these 2 kings here or something like that. And the 5 of Swords, there's some sort of like deception here. Oh, deceit. Yeah, there's definitely some sort of deceptive energy here. Doesn't have to be the case. There could have been some cheating or something in this relationship. But what I'm mostly getting from this is that this was a relationship where like your ex was like the star of the show somehow. Like it was all about them in some sort of a way. I feel like you were kind of approaching this connection very like authentically, like your heart was on the line, like you wanted to care for this person a lot, like you almost maybe shunted your own needs to the side in order to kind of be there for this person and like pump them up somehow or something like that. And like I feel like they knew it and used it and enjoyed it. Like at some point, maybe like it didn't start out that way. Like maybe your relationship didn't start off where they were like, oh, this is a sucker, I can kind of like whatever. But maybe it did, like honestly. Or maybe with the womb. And then we also had the Father on the bottom of the deck. I'm getting a sense of like, I'm getting, well, from the song Toni Braxton that you got, but I'm also getting this song like You Had Me, You Lost Me by like Eve. And it's like, I feel like that could have been how like, because she talks about, I love that song, got me through my divorce, but like it's like she talked a lot about how like in that song how you out clubbing, forcing me to stay in, like cheating on me with people that are like almost like less attractive than me, like kind of a thing. Or what else is in that song? You was my husband, and no doubt I was your effing wife. Did anything you ever asked of Eve. You turned out to be a devil. I couldn't believe. Sneaking numbers out my phone. Calling bitches on the cell. What the hell? Crunky bitches 1 on the scale. I'm like a dime over line. You can't calculate my status. And you effing with these bitches like my ass wasn't the fattest. Like, you know, I feel like you are like a person that is like you got some clout, you're good looking, like you're a great person, like you have a big heart, like you're someone that's like the whole package here or something like that. And this person like saw that energy and sort of like in a greedy sort of a way, like I want them to be with me, almost like so other people can see it, like, or something like that. It's like very much like, oh, you'd be the perfect partner for me to like show off and like have this sort of like image for society or something like that. I'm getting something like that. Or if it was like that they were in a marriage or something like that, it's like they almost like, again, like they didn't really care about like the hurt, because yeah, I'm kind of getting that where they were with somebody else and like you were like by yourself. It doesn't have to be that, but it could also be here that like they thought they were like, oh, like you're lucky to be with me kind of a thing. Like, you know, I'm going to show, like, almost, what does it say? Passing on wisdom and refining a student's character. And then the shadow, inability to allow the student to move on to the role of master, imparting false instruction. Again, that falseness, that deceit energy, the Five of Swords here. It's like, I feel like this person was very calculating in their interactions with you. They saw a purpose for you that you would be, because yeah, with this father-mother energy, it's almost like, again, like looking at this card, this is on the bottom of the deck. This is like a very cold energy, and this is like looks more warm and like whatever. And I feel like they saw that like they could use your warmth to like bump themselves up or something like that. It's like very weird. I feel like this also with the womb and the father, that you could have had kids or pets or something where it was like very much like difficult for you to like leave the situation. I mean, maybe you're still in it, I don't know, and you're like, what would happen? Like, what would I, if I broke up with this person or something like that? But I feel like they could be a very prominent person in society as well. Like how I was saying, you have some clout or you have something that this person wants. Maybe like I was saying, like the opposite of their energy, where like maybe they're like a boss, like a business owner or like something like that, where they're in the spotlight somehow in society or something like that, and like you're like the heartbeat, like behind the scenes, like the manager, like, you know, if they were like a singer or something like that, like, you know what I mean, like kind of like, see how this is like they're like the star of the show and you're sort of like laying down, like your needs aren't being met, like it doesn't matter, like no one has to see you, like it's all about them. I'm getting a vibe like that, where this relationship was all about them and your needs were never really met. And I feel like you continually tried to like make things work with this person, where you would take the hit. What's that song, Piece of My Heart by Janis Joplin? Like, didn't I give you anything that a woman possibly could? Like, and then it's like, just take another little piece of my heart, like break it. And then I also am getting with the song like Elastic Heart by Sia, where it's like, I feel like this could have gone on, like I said, for a long time or something like that. But then like there came a point, you know how in that song she's like, I'm like a rubber band, if you pull too hard, like I may snap and I move fast. Like it could have just been like one final thing that you're just like, you know what, goodbye, like, or something like that. Or I don't know, like maybe you're still in this pattern. Like I was saying, I feel like maybe some of you could still be entrenched in this connection in some sort of a way. But yeah, I'm getting basically the gist of this is that I think you spend a lot of time alone, or even if you were together, you felt alone in this connection, whereas like your person felt perfectly fine because they were getting what they wanted out of this connection, but you weren't. You know, I feel like what they wanted wasn't like the emotional connection that you wanted. Like they wanted the clout, they liked the way you looked together, or like they liked the way you looked, or they liked if it was money, financial or something like that, but they were getting something out of it and they were perfectly happy, but you were not fulfilled in this connection. That's what I'm getting. From that song, Toni Braxton. Again, I feel like it's like one of those situations where it's like, you know, your person doesn't respect you, but you feel like trapped in the connection, or you just like care about them and you're like, well, what do I do? Like, I don't want to be with this person, but like, no, I do want to be with this person, but they clearly have no respect for me, or they clearly are like a terrible person, but like I love them, and like, how can we make it work? Because that's what that song talks about. It's like, how does it go? You can't demand respect without change. It's like, see, the thing of it is we deserve respect, but we can't demand respect without change. There comes a time when we must all make a change. So it's like, there really is no way to get that respect that you're craving, or that emotional connection that you're craving, except to like end this relationship. And which I think you really like had a tough time doing. Like, oh, I'm sorry. Or maybe you still haven't, like I said. But what else is in there? The part about the pain, where it's like, oh, I can't think of that. I can't believe I can't think of the song. It's so annoying to me. Where it's like, if the only thing it brings you is pain. But it's that part of the song where it's like, basically, if it's all it's bringing you is pain and you're feeling like this all the time, like, you know, there's your answer. So, all right, let's move on. What have you learned from this? Hopefully a lot. And you're thriving. What are we doing? Sorry, I have to keep looking at my notes. What you learned. All right, let's get the tarot. What does pile 3 learn from their connection with this person? What have they learned from their ex? Pile 3. Okay. No. How did that come out? Like that. All right, we have the universe, the world card, suffering and silence, movement, choices, and decisions. The 2 of Wands. Wait, I want to put that back. I don't know why I can't, like, I'm so sorry. I really felt like that from the beginning. Yeah, I see wedding rings here. It's like this was really somebody you maybe thought you were going to marry or you actually were married to. And if you were married, it's like you were just not happy in the marriage. You felt alone even in the connection. Like even if you were together, like hanging out at home every night, like you were like leading completely separate lives, like in some way. Even if you were like doing the same activities, it's like, I don't know, listen to those songs. Let It Flow by Toni Braxton and Eve. You Had Me, Lost Me. That's like a great song for like a breakup or whatever. But what were the other cards I was gonna get for this? Work Your Late. What have you learned, pile 3, from this connection? The Great Gathering, it's all coming together, intuitive hits, soul tribe. Oh, that's too many. There's one fall on the floor. Share your voice, come out of the cave, persecution. I came out in pile 1 also. All right, and deep replenishment, retreat, rest, and be held. And then, my grief, anger, sadness, anxiety, or loneliness does not define me. Came out in pile 2. Oh. Actually, I didn't cut the deck, but let's just remember that was there. I'm so sorry. It'll probably come out again if it really wants to, but... Ooh! I find strength in the silence. Oh, that's so weird. Suffering in silence. Oh my god, that's kind of cool. I am becoming who I am meant to be. Okay. I feel like this connection taught you so much. Like, I feel like I am the guardian of my happiness. It's like, I feel like for a long time you were in this like suffering and silent energy. And I feel like it really taught you how to like go within in a way, like really like find out, like, I feel like you did so much thinking. I feel like you were stuck for a long time in this 2 of Wands, movements, choices, decisions. I cannot say the word decision. Like, I don't know what's wrong with me. I like have a lisp or something when I try to say it, but I feel like you realize that this suffering made you such a stronger person. It made you like really learn to trust yourself, and not even trust yourself, but maybe just like learn to like listen to your feelings. It got you in touch with your feelings somehow in like a positive way where you're like, why am I suffering? Like, what am I getting out of this? And it's like, again, in that silence where we know there was suffering going on, like, you know, obviously from this card, it's like you found your strength. It's like you were like, you know what? No, like, I am going to demand respect for myself. Maybe I'm not going to get it from this person, but I'm going to have respect for myself. I feel like you really learned how to like respect yourself, listen to yourself, and you really just, it's like, with Bounce Back, like, I decided, like, that album, like, I like love that album name. Like, I decided, like, this, I feel like maybe you were the one to break up, but I feel like you were the one to break up. I feel like, I mean, I could be wrong, but I feel like you were the one that ended up leaving, and like that act itself was like such a pivotal moment in your life where it's like this whole other world like opened up to you where you're like, oh my God, like you started believing in good things for yourself. This was like a big cycle that you like closed down basically. And come out of the cave, persecution, expression. I feel like a lot of this, what this connection did was sort of like damage your self-esteem a little bit and make you think that relationships were like this and you have to suffer and things like that. But it's like, I decided, like, and I feel like in that song Bounce Back, which is like my favorite song of all time, by the way, like, good for you. You have good energy if you're resonating with this vibe. But you know, where it's like, when they change up more than wishing wells, karma come around, I wish them well. It's like, I don't feel like you're like this person, like, blah, blah, blah. I feel like you're like, you know what, I wish you well, but like our journey ends here, buddy. Like, this is where you get off. Goodbye. Like, you know what I mean? But very final and very firm, but not like, I have to get revenge. I'm going to go bang all of like his friends, or I'm going to, you know, it's, I don't get a revengeful sort of a vibe. It's like, I feel like you are a very good person. The Great Gathering, it's all coming together, intuitive hits, soul tribe. But that's what I'm saying. Like, you learned how to like discern, like, this isn't right. Like, you were able to like really sit there and be like, this isn't right for me. Like, and that was like a power move. Like, again, that came through in my last reading that I did, like a power move. So I feel like you did make some sort of a power move where you, you're like, no, like, I'm meant for something greater than being somebody's stooge and for being their like arm candy, or for being whatever this person like was making you be. Or, and you know, I'm not trying to put it all on them, because like at some point maybe you enjoyed whatever you were doing in this connection, like, you know, but then eventually like it got old, I feel, and you were just like, you know what, I'm not happy, or like we're just too different or something like that. And it's like, I feel like there is this whole other universe, this whole other world, even maybe even like you got in touch with your spirituality somehow or something like that, but it doesn't have to be that. But also, you know, spirituality like is basically just like your heart and what your heart actually wants, like your true desires, like you got in touch with those kinds of things, you know. And it's like, you're kind of like maybe realizing that this kind of person that you did initially want, it's like maybe you're realizing that you want to be with like a different sort of a person. Like, maybe you enjoyed, like I was saying, they had some sort of position of power, they had some clout, I think you do too, but I feel like they were a more deceptive energy, where as like you had like your heart, maybe not on your sleeve, but you were like open-hearted, like you were approaching this connection in a genuine way, like, I just like care about this person. But I think you did enjoy the clout and things like that. But I feel like you're also now kind of being like, I don't really need somebody that has all that clout. Like, I mean, they can, it's not like you would be like, no, if you have clout, or why do I keep saying clout in this song, in this reading? I don't know, but like, I'm just going to use the word clout as like power, looks, money, whatever it was. Like, I'll just use clout as like for all those things. But maybe, you know, like the clout would be nice, but it's not going to sustain me in the long term. Like, I need something more. Like, I want it all, kind of like with the universe. So, all right. Get it, pile 3. Good for you. You deserve it all. All right. And then finally, advice. And then we're wrapping this long ass reading up. All right. What advice? What are my advice cards? Right here. Pile 3, what's the advice for you moving forward? Sovereignty. Sorry, I said that like with a lisp. Queen of the Moon. Yes, like power moves. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, pile 3, you're like in your boss energy, and like stay in that energy, I think Spirit is saying, you know. Hot Moon, extremes. Woo, explore maybe someone you think is hot. I don't know. Like, I mean, they're saying like, well, I think what this is saying is that like I think you're gonna go from one end of the spectrum to the other. That was kind of that energy from pile 2 also. That's so funny. But like, I feel like you're gonna go, but that was like a different scenario and a different kind of a person. But maybe like that's just going on in the collective right now. People are getting out, looking outside the box here. Like, it's something like that they wouldn't normally like go for, or something like that. I'm getting like maybe somebody like a little bit opposite to you, like opposites attract or something like that. Let's see. What's your advice moving forward? New love. Oh, cute. The Union of Hearts. Embrace an opportunity for love in your work prospects or for spiritual growth. And a love connection defies explanation. The Union of Hearts. This is going to be somebody. Oh my God, true love. Look at that. This love is once in a lifetime. This is cute. I feel like you're really going to find somebody, and I feel like don't like necessarily hone in on your type is like the vibe. This could be somebody completely different than what you're like usually like dating or like marrying. And honestly, given what we've seen from your past relationship, that might be a good thing. This is going to be like a new experience kind of. And with the Union of Hearts, I mean, that's a very, you know, clear message. And then the true love on the bottom, where it's like, I feel like you're just both maybe outwardly like, don't like let looks deceive you. Looks could be deceiving. Like, don't like judge a book by its cover or something like that. I'm getting like there could be like a sort of like emotional resonance with somebody where it's like, but on the outside, maybe it wouldn't, maybe on the outside, but there's just like something that's gonna feel like not in your comfort zone or not your usual norm or something like that. I think you're gonna be very attracted though. So like, I mean, but if there's like that emotional resonance and you're kind of being, you know, trust yourself. I feel like you're at a spot where you can trust yourself at this point, you know? You've learned how to do that. From these like this past relationship taught you that. That's what it taught you, like to trust yourself. I don't feel like you left with like issues of like, oh, like, not that you don't have any issues, but I mean, I don't feel like you left with the sort of issues of like insecurities and things like that. I feel like if anything, it like empowered you. It's like you really like took this experience and were like, I'm not settling for like anything like that ever again. Like, you know what I mean? You know who you are, you know what you want. And I feel like that's really going to play out like coming up. What makes you feel most alive? Choose that. Yeah, like don't judge a book by its cover. Like I don't know. Why does life feel like a contest of who has the least feelings? When do we decide we'd rather be robots? It's like, don't be like, I guess, afraid to feel, or like, I don't know, maybe you feel like after this connection, you kind of want to just like do your thing, but maybe Spirit's like, if you're feeling alive and like, you know what I mean? You're really feeling like a emotional connection with somebody. I mean, maybe just go for it. I don't know. Unless you really don't want to. Every time you judge someone else, you reveal an unhealed part of you. Like I was saying, don't judge a book by its cover. I feel like something's coming in that's going to be sort of like outside. Okay, that's way too many. Of your normal zone of life for whatever reason. Oh my god. Alright, that's way too many. Why did they all flip opposite ways? Alright. Come on. Pile 3. Alright, can I just get one at a time? Like, I'm sorry, I don't like to get 3 at once like that. Okay, that one wanted to come out. Stretch. Okay, so stretch those muscles. There you go. Pile 3, why is this happening? Wait, hold on. What is the advice for pile 3 moving forward? Okay, there we go. Don't be afraid to make a fuss if someone is violating you in any way. So maybe you're gonna have to like, I don't know, maybe this person might like come back or something like that, or have some other situation. This is just like general advice, not necessarily love advice. Don't take failure so personally, see what you can learn from it. And then every word you speak or write can change your life. Choose wisely. So, all right, I guess there you go, guys. That's pile 3 right there for you. I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. Just don't judge whatever upcoming thing, because I feel like it could be something really good. Again, but also if it's not and you see that it's like the same sort of an energy, don't be afraid to make a fuss. Especially if you had some sort of like, I don't know, like something like rebound after this connection. I think Spirit's saying like, oh, something else might be coming, you know, your way. So maybe it was something that you had to learn from in order to get you ready for your next real person, like the Union of Hearts and your true love coming in. I feel like they're going to be a very kind person, because that was on the bottom of the deck. Simple acts of kindness. Maybe they'll have a lot of animals, because there's a lot of animals. Just something to look out for. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Thanks for watching this reading. And like, comment, or subscribe if you feel like you want to. Okay. Bye.